Objection deadline to the third line after survey. Oh, honey, for when you always use the verb estar. What are you doing down there? Did you finish your breakfast?
Ow.
Whew. Don't hit your brother. Honey, you have to eat something. Here. Okay, 5 minutes to carpool. Where's my coffee?
You okay, Mom?
Oh, I'm fine. Sandwich orders. What do you want?
Almond butter and jelly.
Spaghetti.
You sure you're okay?
I'm fine, sweetie.
I am so late. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, honey. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure?
Oh, yeah. Here.
Acai, my favorite. See you guys later.
Wear your shoes. Put your shoes back on, please. You know, go help your sister. We're going in 3 minutes. Oh my God, what am I doing? I forgot to cut off the crust. Voila. Shoes on, potty if you need it. Honey, get your sister. Okay, here. Nobody move. I'm getting a dustpan. Whoa.
Mom! I think you're having a heart attack.
Honey, do I look like the type of person who has a heart attack? I'm just gonna sit down. I'm totally fine. Don't forget to wear the high socks with the shin guards.
Forget about the shin guards, Mom.
Come on, Mrs. Underdog is not gonna wait. Whoa. Okay. 9, 1, 1. Hi, sorry to bother you. I think I might be having a little heart attack. Nothing really, just some nausea, tightening of the jaw, dizziness, shortness of breath, muscle pain, achiness, this terrible pressure in my chest. Oh, really? They can be here in how long? 2 minutes. Can you make it 10? I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of my heart and I tell the women in my life to do the same.
Sounds great, by the way.
That's nice, sweetie, but that's not my heart. That is. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at GoRedForWomen.org.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome all of you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. I'm ABC6 News anchor Laura Lee, and I'll be your MC for tonight. Again, I'm just so grateful for all of you guys for taking the time to join us for this evening's event. Again, welcome to the Rochester's Go Red for Women Gala. This is now the 16th year that the American Heart Association has done this event, but this is the first time that we are hosting it virtually. So it's going to be a very exciting night. We have a wonderful program for all of you. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. Well, as we all know, COVID-19 has made life very challenging, and especially challenging for those with underlying health conditions. The American Heart Association's top priority, of course, is the health and well-being of all of our volunteers, our survivors, and their families. We want to thank everyone who's been working so hard on the front lines during this pandemic. Our hearts go out to everyone who's been impacted and affected by COVID-19. We want to thank, of course, all of our frontline workers who shared their photos with us. Now, if you take a look in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen there, you can check out a link to the special video that was posted to social media earlier today. Now, while this season, of course, is challenging, tonight we want to take this moment to celebrate all of you and to thank all of you and to create awareness about why this event is so important. We want to reiterate that the work we are doing has never been more important. Before we get started, though, we have some few things that we want to just point out and to remind you, and there are some people we also want to thank. We want to remind you that even though your cameras and your microphones are turned off, we still want you to be as involved as you can be. We want this to be an interactive event throughout the night. So we want to hear from all of you. And to do so, we want you to share your excitement and your thoughts in the chat box. We're already hearing from some people. Chris Blade, letting everyone know that he's looking forward to the event, or she's looking forward to the event, and wearing a red sweater, and she has her red wine, so I think she's got the night started. So please feel free to just stay interactive and stay in our chat box that way. Now, again, we're just going to work through that exercise. All you have to do is go to the chat box, go to the bottom where it says panelists. You want to click that and then click all panelists and attendees. And that's how you can start chatting with all of us. At the top of your screen, we also want to point out that there is an interactive donation tracker. Now, that's where we can recognize individuals throughout the night who are making gifts to this life-saving mission. And you can also donate and give very simply by going to your phone and you text GoRedMN, all in one word, to 51555. You will immediately receive a text response, which will then guide you with a link on where you can quickly and easily complete your donation. And you can also donate by clicking again in the chat box. There's also a direct link that you can also go to that you can make a donation up there as well. Now, of course, we know that the life-saving research and education awareness efforts Go Red for Women depend on the generosity of all of our sponsors. And we want to take this moment to thank everyone who's contributed time and effort to make this event possible. So we want to recognize a few of our local sponsors. CVSHealth became a national sponsor for Go Red for Women in 2017 with a $10 million pledge to join our fight to end heart disease and stroke. And in 2018, they furthered that commitment with a 3-year pledge of $15 million. It's just incredible. Millions of times a day, close to home and across the country, CVS is helping people on their path to better health. So huge thank you to CVS. And we'd also like to recognize our local campaign vendors as well and sponsors. These sponsors include Mayo Clinic, Post Bulletin, Gerhard's Kitchen and Bath Store, Premier Banks, Doda and McKinney, Mayo Clinic Ambulance, Mayo Clinic Cardiovascular Surgery, Think Mutual Bank. And ABC6 News, we're so proud to be a media sponsor for this event. Again, I'm very honored to be with all of you tonight. So thank you so much, again, for taking the time. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors for contributing to this wonderful event. Well, right now, as we move forward, I would like this moment to now introduce Carrie Dessner, our 2020 Rochester Go Red Gala Chair, to deliver a few remarks on what our mission means to her. Carrie serves as an advanced practice provider in the Women's Heart Clinic and outpatient cardiology APP supervisor at Mayo Clinic. Please help me welcome Carrie.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I hope you are as excited as we are to debut this virtual new experience so we can continue to inspire change and make history while physically distancing. These are truly unprecedented times that are impacting everyone, but we are adaptable in the face of adversity. While we can't be together face to face, we can continue to be a relentless force together. Through events like this, we can fight for women's heart health from anywhere at any time. Cardiovascular disease isn't taking a break right now, and neither are we. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 women will die from heart disease and stroke. Our mothers, sisters, daughters, and friends that live with heart disease or have experienced a stroke are at increased risk for COVID-19 complications. This is a terrifying reality, especially when we think of our remarkable survivors, their loved ones, and the healthcare providers who treat them. I'm sure I speak for many today. Someone I know and love with cardiovascular disease is at risk for COVID-19 complications, and we need to do more to help keep them safe during this uncertain time. My why is twofold. First, I want to be part of the Go Red movement because of the women I have supported in my practice for over 10 years who have experienced cardiovascular disease. My second reason is personal. I have lost a loved one early to heart disease, and I want to try to spare people from having to experience that pain. Millions of women are counting on us for science-based information right now. The American Heart Association is continuing their mission, critical work in these challenging times, through programs like Research Goes Red that are shaping the way healthcare providers treat women. They are also investing research dollars in the search for answers and fast-tracked a special $2.5 million fund for rapid response scientific research projects to investigate the specific cardiovascular implications for coronavirus. Mayo Clinic was a recipient of one of these grants. You'll hear more about that in tonight's program. I also want to celebrate an incredible group of women leaders who joined me on the leadership team to raise funds and awareness to improve the lives of all women. I want to thank Christy Blade, Judy Hampstead, Judy Bratz, and Rebecca Nielsen for their work to make this evening possible. Our hope is that you'll leave this event ready to be an agent of change for women everywhere, right from the comfort of your own home. To be a relentless force for longer lives for every woman in your life. Each individual voice strengthens our efforts because together there is nothing women cannot achieve. Thank you in advance for your generous support during tonight's program. Together, we can save the lives of our mothers, sisters, daughters, and friends.
Thank you so much, Carrie, again, for that wonderful message. Again, right now, we want to remind all of you that we are here. This is a fundraiser. We're also raising awareness, but we also want to raise funds because the research needs to continue. You can give to the American Heart Association's life-saving mission via your phone very quickly, very simply. All you have to do is text GoRedMN, all in one word, to 51555. And again, that tracker at the top of your screen will indicate the funds coming in and the donations coming in. And we do have a goal of $10,000. And I know all of you can open your hearts and donate and support us and help us get to that mark. We're at $640 in already. Again, so many wonderful, generous people there. Now, like Carrie said, each of us, we all have a reason for being here tonight. Each of us has a personal connection to heart disease or stroke, and it motivates us to make a difference. And we want to know what your reason is. Is it a family member? Is it a friend, a coworker, someone you know who you care about that brings you here tonight? Text GoRed to 22333 to join, and then text us with your why. Who do you go red for? You'll start to see the virtual tribute wall fill up with names of people who make you want to fight longer for a longer, healthier lives. And we want to thank Premier Banks because they're sponsoring this beautiful tribute to our loved ones. Again, all you have to do is first text GoRed to that number and then 22333 to join, and then text us your why. Again, as you can see there, you can see the beautiful tribute wall. As those names begin to populate, I want to give a special shout out again to Premier Banks, our Banking on a Change sponsors. Now, not only are they sponsoring this wonderful moving tribute to our loved ones, but listen to this, they've also shared survivor stories in their bank locations all across the state earlier this year. So a huge, again, thank you to Premier Banks. Now, we love seeing the names come in from all over as we are starting to see people come in and everyone joining on through chat. We want to say hi to a few people. There's Diane Bray checking in from Chatfield. Again, Holly Messick, she's joining this evening, as well as Doreen Ernst checking in from Austin. Again, we love seeing all of you and we want you to be interactive, so make sure you tune in and you give us your thoughts through chat. Now, this is the point in the event where we want to hear from someone, a survivor, who can share their story. And so I want to turn all of you right now to a local survivor who has battled heart disease her entire life.
I'm Marina and I'm waiting for a heart. I was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which is when the left side of your heart isn't fully developed at birth. So when I was 6 weeks old, I had my first heart transplant. Then when I was 10, I needed a kidney transplant. So I had a kidney transplant. So I got my defibrillator in September, and then they told me I needed a heart transplant because my heart was rejecting, and that's why I had VT. So my heart's in constant rejection. I was placed on a heart transplant list in November 13, 2015. I go red because we need more survivors.
A beautiful story there from Miranda. And as you just heard, she has had a heart transplant at a young age of 6 weeks old, and she's still waiting for a heart transplant. She's been listed on the heart transplant list for 5 years now, and she's endured more than most of us can even imagine. Well, tonight we have Miranda and her mom, Cheryl, joining us from their home this evening to share and give us an update. Take a listen.
We're excited to be with you this evening for the first ever virtual Rochester Go Red for Women Gala. I wanted to share a little bit about how I've been doing and what it's like living with heart disease during a global pandemic. My energy has been going down over the past couple months. I still go to Mayo every 4 weeks for blood work and echo and to see the doctor. I used to be able to go to cardiac rehab 3 times a week, but because of the pandemic, I'm not able to. But I do go on walks when I feel good with my dogs and go on golf cart rides.
With this being a novel virus, we've been cautious because there's some troubling data that people living with heart disease might be more at risk to COVID-19 or have worse outcomes. We can't take any chances with Miranda. Safety precautions we've been taking, we wear masks, wiping things down. When we're not in appointments at Mayo Clinic, we used to go to the mall and walk around, but we can't take that chance anymore with Miranda. And Miranda does have exciting news she'd like to share with you.
Yes, I do. I'm proud to announce that I graduated from high school in June. Heart disease didn't stop me from reaching this important milestone in my life. I want to thank the American Heart Association and the donors who contribute to the American Heart Association's mission. Since I was a baby, my life has depended on new research and therapies, and I hope we can find a cure so no other kid has to fight this battle.
I'm so proud of you, Miranda. Go Red for Women has been an important outlet for us. Meeting other families battling heart disease reminds us that we're not alone. This past February, Miranda had the honor of meeting 4 other survivors and being part of a Go Red Survivor Story showcase. We want to share the moment with you now.
So performing her original song, You're Not Alone, please welcome Dana Cohen and your 2020 survivors.
There may be struggles, there may be pain, there may be times when you're afraid you're losing everything, but through the heartaches, through the loss, the price you pay for loving life is worth the cost. If your crying eyes convince you that you're on your own, come run into my arms. You're not alone. If you are hiding behind a mask, I'll just sit here with you. You don't have have to even ask. And if you stumble, I'm standing by. I'll hold your hand in mine till you let go, then I'll watch you fly. So darling, dry your eyes, because you're not here on your own. Come run into my arms, you're not alone. You're not alone, even in your darkest night. You're not alone, we'll make it through alright. Through highs and lows, I'm with you in this fight. Come dry your eyes, you're not alone. You're not alone, even in your darkest night. You're not alone, we'll make it through alright. Through highs and lows, I'm with you in this fight. Come dry your eyes, 'cause you're not alone, even in your darkest night. You're not alone, we'll make it through alright. Through highs and lows, I'm with you in this fight. Come dry your eyes, 'cause you're not alone.
What a beautiful, beautiful tribute there. That video was wonderful. And we want to see more women, more survivors on that stage. And that, like that song said, you're not alone. You are absolutely not alone. There are so many people out there rooting for you and raising money so we can continue research so we can save more lives. Again, a very powerful video there. Go Red for Women has made incredible strides over the past years, but more work needs to be done, and we need all of you to help us do so. We need your help now to make sure that more lives like Miranda's can be saved. If you've not already, please make your donations. Text GoRedMN all in one word to 51555 to make your donations. Open your heart today. We have some generous donors already coming in. Again, that tracker at the top of your screen. Our goal is $10,000, and we're nearly at $3,000 already. That is incredible. Absolutely wonderful. So many of you are so generous. We have some people we want to shout out and say thank you to because they're already coming in with so many donations. We see donations coming in from Holly Messick, Luke giving a $500 donation, Krista Moffitt, Chris Blade, all of you, thank you so much for opening your hearts and making those donations. Again, we had an anonymous donor before the event started give us $1,000 towards this event and toward this cause. Again, thank you so much to all of you for making donations and for being with us tonight. And we want this momentum to keep going. We definitely want to let you know where these dollars are going. All gifts at every amount truly, really is appreciated. We encourage you to make a gift at a level that is comfortable for all of you. A $200 donation could help train 20 community advocates in a virtual setting so they're better equipped to push for policies that will reduce the impact of e-cigarettes in Rochester and beyond. Now, this will help reduce vaping among youth and adults, as we're seeing on the news, is very prevalent nowadays. Each donor at this level will also receive a complimentary red dress pin. A $119 donation in honor of Miranda's 19th birthday could make a gift to research to support research and awareness efforts around women's heart health and heart disease. And it is, of course, a disease that is a woman's top health threat right now. So again, a $119 donation is very, very special. And again, that's in honor of Miranda's 19th birthday. And for many of you, give what you can. A $50 gift can really, really stretch as well. $50 could teach a family how to save a life with hands-on only CPR. Your gift helps millions more people every year learn how to respond to cardiac emergencies, saving countless lives. And did you know that every three of hospital cardiac arrests occur inside a family's home? So think about that. A $50 gift can teach all of us the life-saving skills of CPR to reduce those dangerous situations where someone is having a heart attack inside our own homes. And to showcase how your gifts are making a difference, I'm going to turn it over to a team at Mayo Clinic who recently received a rapid response grant from the American Heart Association to study the effects of COVID-19 on the body's heart and brain systems.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Paul Friedman, Chair of the Department of Cardiovascular Medicine at Mayo Clinic. Tonight, I'm honored to recognize the American Heart Association as a principal benefactor of Mayo Clinic. In the past 60 years, the AHA has provided $45 million in grants and other funding to support research at Mayo. But the significance of the relationship between the AHA and Mayo Clinic isn't just about the dollars. It's about shared values and a sense of purpose. A commitment to life-saving research, helping patients, and nurturing the careers of the physicians, scientists, and medical leaders of tomorrow who have been supported with AHA awards. Heart disease continues to be the #1 cause of death for women and men across the world. Even in the midst of a global pandemic, more people will die from heart disease than from COVID-19. And people with heart disease are at increased risk of adverse events related to COVID-19. Thanks to the AHA, we have a more thorough understanding, better means of diagnosing, and far safer and more effective treatment for heart disease today. We're doing a better job focusing on our understanding of heart disease in women and how heart disease affects women and men differently. In fact, we have new tools that help us better reach all demographics because of your support. Every day, clinical investigators and researchers across Mayo Clinic are finding ways to save and improve lives because of the AHA support, including Dr. Yewande Odeyemi.
The American Heart Association is at the forefront of the fight against COVID-19 by supporting ongoing research efforts, including the SMART trial, of which I am a part. With the support of the AHA, we're studying the effect of an individualized steroid dosing approach based on biomarkers of inflammation in patients with COVID-19 disease and respiratory failure. We hope our work will shed more light on how we can safely use steroids to control inflammation in people infected with SARS coronavirus 2, thus reducing the lung and heart complications associated with COVID-19. It would not be possible to advance this work without the support of the AHA, and the impact of your support will be far-reaching and reflected in the lives of the people who won't have to suffer through complications after surviving COVID. This is the beauty of decades-long research made possible, in part, by the AHA. It has and will continue to make our world a healthier place.
The American Heart Association clinic to continually develop the newest procedures, latest diagnostics, most innovative surgeries, and next-generation care models, leveraging advanced technology, artificial intelligence, and platforms in ways we once considered unimaginable. But there's still a lot left to be done. We look forward to a time when heart disease is no longer a pervasive killer across the globe. And we know we will only reach that future state of global heart health with the AHA's continued support. On behalf of my colleagues in cardiovascular medicine, the Department of Development, and all Mayo Clinic staff, thank you for funding so much of our work over the past 6 decades. I cannot adequately express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for all that you have done and continue to do. We are committed to continuing to send you compelling, life-improving scientific proposals, and we look forward to continuing to walk with you down the path that leads to the elimination of heart disease.
Again, thank you so much to our team at Mayo Clinic for all of the work that they're doing to advance research. You know, I think we're all pretty privileged and honored to have Mayo Clinic in our own backyard to lead this community and to lead the nation when it comes to research. Again, just let that sink in. More will die from heart disease in the country than COVID-19. That's why this is so important, why we're all here tonight, to continue the research. We want to introduce to you tonight our panelists who will be joining me to talk a little bit about what they do. And serving on this evening's Women's Health panel, I want to introduce you guys to Dr. Courtney Jordan-Beckler. She is the Medical Director of the Emergency Science Centers at the Minneapolis Heart Institute Foundation, focusing on the Women's Science Center and Prevention Center. She is a board-certified internist and cardiologist, focusing on the prevention of heart disease and behavioral change that supports overall well-being. She's also co-chairing our Twin Cities Go Red event in February. And our next panelist will be Dr. LaPrincess Brewer. She is an assistant professor of medicine at Mayo Clinic College of Medicine within the Department of Cardiovascular Medicine. So please welcome, ladies, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Right now, we want to remind you that we want this to be an interactive event. So at this moment, if you have any questions, please type your questions you have into the chat box, and we'll address those questions at the end of the panel discussion. Please remember to select all panelists and attendees before submitting your questions so we can see it. Now, let's start with Dr. Jordan-Beckler. Can you talk about the connection between mental health and cardiovascular health? What are your top tips for prevention measures for women?
Thanks, you guys. Thanks so much for having me here. What an exciting night. It's really neat to hear everybody's stories, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to talk really about this important role between the heart and mind. So I just wanted to point out a little bit of data to you. So there was a large study called the Inner Heart Study that was across 6 different continents, over 50 countries, that looked at what causes heart disease. And we found out that 32% of all cardiovascular risk is actually from psychosocial factors. Those include depression, stress, anxiety, anger, and social isolation. This is from 2004, and so this has been seen in studies to come that have really seen depression prevalence higher in our heart patients. We've also seen that once people have a cardiac event of any type, that they often lead an impaired quality of life compared to that of the general population. So you can see on the bottom of the slide here this great CDC figure that really kind of gives this chicken or egg combo. We wonder sometimes, did anxiety and depression help cause heart disease, or does heart disease then lead to the development of anxiety and depression and even post-traumatic stress disorder? But we know these two are very critically connected. If you can advance to the next slide, please. I think. There we go. Awesome. So we are talking about women, and that's what Go Red is all about, right? So here's a few mental health statistics about women. Each year, 1 in 5 women has a mental health challenge. So again, about 20% of the population. Depression is 2 times more common in women, and women are 2 times as likely to experience post-traumatic stress disorder. We also know in that same realm, women are 2 times as likely to experience generalized anxiety disorder. We compound that with the fact that compared to men, women earn about 20% less than their full-time counterparts, and over 65% of caregivers are women. And many women are in an caregiver situation where they're helping care for their parents and their children. So what we know is, as this picture depicts, that women have a lot on their shoulders, and it's absolutely something we need to be addressing. Next slide. I think it's coming. So what I want, this is one of my favorite quotes here. Peace, it does not mean to be in a place where there's no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. I, am a working mom myself, and by no means am I trying to pretend that there's not stress in my life, but how we figure out how our body interprets that stress and what we do with that is so key. So if you only take away one thing today on this next slide, I'm going to give you some tips about what we can do to help minimize the impact that stress has on our body. And it's just like everything else. It needs to become a habit, like brushing our teeth every day. It's a muscle that we need to practice. And here are just a variety of things that have been shown to decrease stress, improve our mental health, and many of them have direct correlations with heart disease improvement. So these are different things. It's not a one size fits all. It's something that you need to figure out what works best in your life. But guided imagery, aromatherapy, meditation, yoga, acupuncture, biofeedback, counseling. I want to urge getting help is not a sign of weakness. Reaching out to our colleagues in the mental health arena when we need help is huge. Music therapy, exercise, Tai Chi, and don't forget now more than ever how important that social connection is, and really figuring out a way to continue to connect with other humans safely during COVID is critical. So those are my tips for now, and I think we'll have a chance for questions later. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Now let's move on to Dr. Brewer. Your primary research obviously focuses on developing strategies to reduce and eliminate cardiovascular disease health disparities in racial and ethnic minority populations in underserved communities. Can you talk about the role the social determinants of health play in overall cardiovascular health?
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be a part of this esteemed panel and part of this awesome event. Next slide, please. The American Heart Association has been a longstanding beacon for building a culture of health and wellness by promoting heart health in places where people live, work, play, and pray. Next slide. The American Heart Association has also recognized that addressing the social determinants of health is key to promoting heart health and preventing heart disease. And the social determinants of health are defined as conditions in the environments in which people are born, live, work, play, and worship that affect health outcomes. And 80% of what affects a person's health lies outside of the clinic. The social determinants of health include several factors, such as economic stability, and this includes food and housing access, education level, and access to higher education, healthcare access, neighborhood and built environment, and this includes access to safe recreational activities in parks, and social and community networks. Next slide, please. The American Heart Association has shifted its focus to a concept of heart health, or the Life Simple 7. And these are 7 simple steps that we can all do to reduce our risk for heart disease. And these include quitting smoking, eating better, getting more regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, managing our blood pressure, controlling cholesterol, and reducing blood sugar. And our ability to meet these Life Simple 7 are influenced by the social determinants of health. Next. Unfortunately, there are disparities or differences in how women achieve the Life Simple 7. Compared to white women, African American women have a lower proportion that meet 5 or more healthy Life Simple 7 components. And unfortunately, this leads to them having the highest cardiovascular disease death rates among all women. Next slide, please. In recognition of these health disparities and to target the social determinants of health to promote heart health, my team and I decided to go where the patients are, out into the community. I founded the Faith Cardiovascular Health and Wellness Program, and it's an acronym that stands for Fostering African American Improvement in Total Health. And it's the first partnership with Mayo Clinic, Rochester, and local African American churches to promote heart health. And to our knowledge, it's the first community-based intervention using the Life Simple 7 to target the social determinants of health in African Americans at high risk for cardiovascular disease. And the majority of our participants from the churches are women, and they serve as champions or cheerleaders along their journeys to heart health. And participants in our program had access to a digital app, which included education modules on heart health delivered by health professionals from Mayo Clinic. They also participated and engaged in fitness classes and cooking demonstrations. And our participants had improvements in several of the Life Simple 7, and this equated to better heart health. Next slide, please. And as a part of our annual community outreach, we hold Red Dress, Red Tie Sundays in commemoration of American Heart Month every February. And the goal of our programs are to increase heart disease awareness in women, their families, and their church families. So African American churches in Rochester and the Twin Cities areas put on their Sunday's Best in red to promote heart health, and we have had a blast through the years. And we're so grateful to the American Heart Association and Mayo Clinic for their support of our community outreach as well as our research efforts. So thank you for your time, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion.
Yes, thank you both to Dr. Brewer and Dr. Beckler for what you're doing to really improve lives and to bring awareness and all the work that you do both at Mayo Clinic and beyond. At this point, we want to open it up for a conversation. Again, we want this to be interactive. We invite all of you to join in and through chat, text us or message us your questions for both Dr. Beckler and Dr. Brewer, and we'll have them answer those for you. But before we get started, Dr. Beckler, that video we saw at the beginning of the program about just a little heart attack. It shows a mom working obviously very hard. She looks like all of the moms out there trying to get everything done. Could you talk about the role that women take in the family and how women's decisions really impact the full family's health?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so critical, and that video is so well done because I believe so strongly that the only way we're ever going to close this gap for the disparities that we see in gender and race and ethnicity, quite frankly, is if we really start talking about these underlying issues. And in this case, to the one that you brought up, the fact that there is so much pressure on most women each day. We actually saw heart disease go up significantly as women entered the workforce. And as a woman in the workforce, I'm glad that we're there and we have that opportunity, and I don't want that to change, but I definitely have succumbed to the reality that you can't do it all at the same time. And sometimes the very best thing that we can do for all the people that we're helping in our life is to take care of ourselves first. And I'm sure Dr. Brewer would say the same thing, that it's always the women that come to your office and say, I mean, I'm sure it's nothing. I probably shouldn't bother you. You know, I just, you know, it's this little thing that has been bothering me. But women really, I feel like, tend to minimize our symptoms. And I also think we're very in tune with our body to recognize when something's up. But yeah.
I think that was perfect. And I think you're right. I think women tend to feel selfish when they put their health first. So I absolutely agree that moms definitely do that. Dr. Brewer, let's talk about, with your background with disparities, what are your thoughts on multi-generational homes during a COVID-19 pandemic and how to keep everyone safe in that situation?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question as it brings into the social determinants of health. So as I mentioned, housing and economic stability is one of them. So racial ethnic minority groups are more likely to live in these multi-generational households. And unfortunately, it's really hard for them to enact many of the preventive measures if you're in a household with many people. But what we tell patients is you still have to follow those preventive measures. You know, wear your mask. If you're having symptoms, please see a provider so that you can be adequately diagnosed, and then be able to isolate your family members to prevent spread. So it is one of the social determinants of health that's really important in racial ethnic minority groups, and we must recognize that.
Awesome. And just to keep you on, just one more, now that we're talking about COVID-19, a question came in. What are you most concerned about women's health in the post-COVID-19 world?
Well, kind of going back to Dr. Backler's response that women often minimize their symptoms. And even, in the face of COVID, I've seen women who did not come in to get testing, although they were having symptoms, and actually had a heart attack. We were, able to pick that up later, but it would have been great for them to come in. But I understand their trepidation during the pandemic to come in. So I think the pandemic world that we'll all be a part of, we have to encourage women to seek care. Don't wait. Hesitation and, doubt can, lead to death. So we really want you to come in.
And Dr. Beckler or Dr. Brewer, can you answer what someone asked us? What are some symptoms that women come in with that they just don't think are signs of heart attack? Because we always hear the traditional signs, you feel numbness in your arm, you have tightness in your chest, but what are some other symptoms that maybe is not so mainstream that we don't really know about?
Well, the list is quite long, and I always, whenever, I'm sure you do the same thing, Dr. Brewer, whenever I talk about this, I think if you didn't have one of these in the last week, you probably are not attuned with your body, but it includes, shortness of breath, jaw pain, arm numbness. It does still include chest pain, but then nausea, vomiting, and depression is always on there also. But I think more than anything, what I tell women is if you have experienced something that you haven't experienced before that feels out of the norm, we would always rather that you come in and see us and we check it out, and it ends up being nothing fantastic. But to what Dr. Brewer was saying, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of people dismiss these symptoms, particularly during this time of COVID. And, prevention is worth a pound of cure, as the saying goes. So it really is critical that if it doesn't feel right to you, you get checked out.
Awesome. Dr. Brewer, do you have anything else to add with that?
No, I completely agree, but I do want to emphasize that the most common symptom is still chest pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And women are more likely to experience these atypical symptoms that Dr. Backler eloquently went over. But chest pain is the most common symptom amongst men and women. So please come in, ladies, if you're having any of these symptoms. As Dr. Beckler said, it's much easier for us to rule it out and just say you're okay than, when you come in and it's too late.
Well, thank you both so much. And one quick question. I know that I think for a lot of people with COVID as well as heart health, I think everyone assumes that it's usually just older people. The older you are, the more likely you are to get these things. But there is a kind of a rise in cases among young women as far as heart health goes. What can you say about that? What should young women start to do for preventative measures, or even just to kind of would you recommend they would just go get checked out during their physicals for things like heart disease?
Yeah, so we are seeing an increase in heart attacks in women between ages 35 and 45. And I think the biggest thing that you can do is get more information, go in and at a minimum visit with your primary care doctor, talk about your family history, your own risk factors, and whether or not you would benefit from a preventative cardiology visit. There's lots of us out there that, I see folks in their 20s, starting sometimes in their late teens, depending on how strong their family history is, because again, we can do so much more now preventatively. And so it just gives you more knowledge and a basis to start on and how to stay healthy.
Awesome. And we have a question that just came in about, and you kind of talked a little bit about this, the mental health and physical health. Do you have recommendations for improving your mental health while we're all stuck in this pandemic, stuck at home? We are not able to go out and maybe socialize, which are all important factors to reduce stress. What would you recommend people do?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is starting by taking time for yourself and figuring out whether that is a walk outside, that's listening to music for 20 minutes to help you relax. We're doing a Grateful-gram every week from the Minneapolis Heart Institute Foundation, where I give tips ever since COVID for these exact reasons. So feel free to subscribe to that. But Even there's data to show that just writing down what you're grateful for or telling a friend 3 things that you're grateful for a day makes a big difference. So it really, part of it is the lens that we're looking in, and then being very strategic about seeking it out during this time as the seasons start to change, get outside and really take advantage of that fresh air.
Wonderful. Dr. Brewer, how about you? Do you have any other recommendations or tips?
Yes, I completely agree with self-care. You really have to take time out for yourself. So even, just my own self as an example. So today I had a full day of meetings, mostly through Zoom. And in between my meetings, I took some time out to walk my dog. And that just gave me some time to take a fresh breath of air, to spend time outside with nature, and then to come back refreshed for the rest of my meetings and for this one. So you really have to take time for yourself. And I also just wanted to emphasize, kind of going back to the question about what young women can do at this time. We're also seeing that younger women are unfortunately being diagnosed with risk factors for heart disease at an earlier age. So your hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. So you really have to go back to those Life Simple 7 as well and do your check-in of all of those. Am I getting regular exercise? Am I maintaining a healthy weight? Let's stop smoking. Let's check my blood pressure, my glucose and cholesterol so that I can prevent heart disease. So start early.
Yeah, and those are great tips. Dr. Brewer, you kind of brought up something as well that I kind of want to quickly ask you before we wrap up. When we talk about socioeconomic or disparities within families, and we think about how important it is to have a healthy diet when it comes to eating healthy things. Sometimes the families that fall under, they don't have access to those healthy meals. And so how do families like that find nutritional value in the food that they eat but be in the situation that they are in?
Yeah, so that's a very good point. And again, going back to those social determinants of health. Food insecurity is what you're speaking to. So what we tell our participants in our faith program who are lower income is that you just have to be very creative when you go into the grocery store. Sometimes the fruits and vegetables are actually cheaper than those bag of chips and other unhealthy foods that you're buying. And then you have to really prioritize what's important. So when you go in, get nature's candy, the blueberries and strawberries instead of, the processed and packaged foods. So it is something that we have to consider in our socioeconomically disadvantaged patients, that they may not be able to afford groceries themselves. So also food banks are becoming commonplace during the pandemic, and they also are offering healthier options for lower socioeconomic disadvantaged community members.
Awesome. Thank you both so much, Dr. Brewer and Dr. Beckler. You guys gave us so many tips. I don't know about all of you guys, but I'm like walking away with so many wonderful tips to just, again, remember to self-care and to think about ourselves and to not put ourselves as moms always in the back burner, because our health obviously matters. The healthier we are, the more we can love our family members.
Absolutely.
Thank you both so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So at this point, I want to welcome all of you guys to come back in. Thank you to everyone for contributing questions for the panel. That was awesome. I don't know about you guys. I was just really into that discussion, so I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Don't forget that we are still raising money at this hour, so if you feel compelled to give again, please do so. Again, thank you to so many people for making donations already. At the tracker on top, we are at, again, more than $3,000 already donated. Our goal tonight is $10,000. Again, every cent goes towards research that is so very needed. We have Mayo Clinic in our backyard, and they're doing tremendous work already to advance the knowledge that we need to continue this research. Well, I know that for many of you guys, if you continue to donate, again, you can donate to the link right there, GoRedMN to 51555, and you can click on the link to then reply to make your donation. This evening has been such a wonderful night. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I know this is not the traditional virtual the Go Red for Women Gala, but this virtual one has been pretty fun. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it from the comforts of your homes. While we are celebrating where we are now, we also invite you to join us in future years so that we can see how far we can go. We're still losing those that we love, and so much more work needs to be done to address all of that and to continue the research. This concludes our virtual program. Before we go, I want to thank everyone again for being with us tonight. Our panelists, Dr. Brewer, Dr. Beckler, thank you so much. I also want to thank the Go Red for Women team and the staff, the women that you probably don't see on the monitor right now because they're so busy working behind the scenes to make sure that this was smooth. Thank you to all the ladies out there. You know who you are. We have a pretty big team. You guys are wonderful, so thank you so much for putting this all together. Thank you again to all of our sponsors for providing all of the things that they needed to get this event up and going. Again, you have helped us to make history in this fight against heart disease and stroke. Like we always say, go bold, go red, stay well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Before we go, we have one little video to wrap it up.
When women have been challenged, we've stepped up, stepped out, overcome opposition, broken barriers. We voted, led the workforce, joined forces, shattered ceilings, blasted into space. Our passion made history, but our actual hearts didn't. Heart disease has never been just a man's disease, but through the years, women have been excluded from studies, underrepresented, uncounted, untreated. If change only happens when we know there's a problem, know that cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. That's a problem. With the American Heart Association leading, innovating, fighting, women are being considered more than ever and counted. We are given a chance to overcome by making strides in fields that once rejected us, by participating in research, by making simple life changes, by spreading the word. We won't let heart disease or stroke beat us. Watch me be counted. Watch me change my future. Watch me go red. Join us in making history at GoRedForWomen.org.